Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by GoDaddy. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 33. Still Got Game is the official podcast of ToolToPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
Joel Dude I Rock Albert coming to us from a walkie-talkie microphone on the West Coast. It's good to have you back, but I know your transition has not been smooth in the least.
No. If you were ever going to move across the country, don't do anything that I did, because it means you will have none of your stuff when you actually get there.
Yeah,
or people have stolen your stuff.
Yeah, a couple bad things happened to you on your way out there.
Yeah, pretty bad. If you guys are following the Twitter or following me at all, which obviously thousands and millions of people do, you'll know that my car was broken into on the way out here. They stole some laptops, stole some monitors. And then when I finally got here, as of a week and a half ago, none of my stuff that I shipped over via U-Haul has been found. So I am coming to you in a makeshift Bluetooth headset that I took from work, and some of my work friends are actually watching now. And I have everything stacked up on boxes. Anything that I had remaining in the car that actually made it to San Francisco, I'm sitting on some lawn chairs and stocking everything up on boxes. So this is the most ghetto version of the show that we've ever done. So you're welcome.
That's fucked up. I of course am still here in the fancy decorated background here. I got the Tool to Play banner, but Jay, yes, he's coming to us from the 1970s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back. We had last time we did a show, we did our show post PAX East. Then Tiff and I did a second show that week, episode 32 and a half, where we talked about everything we saw at PAX East. Then we unfortunately had 2 weeks off, but now we are back and in the house. And I just wanted to remind everybody of that before we get into the feedback, because that does come up. So on that, why don't we hop into feedback from last week's show? Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Nikki comments, where have you guys been? I'm going through show withdrawal. I tried some other shows, but they just aren't the same. Please come back. Well, that's a good statement, Nikki.
We're like half back, right?
Yeah, we're at least on live. It's not the most professional quality we've had, but we are back here and we are on live and we are back. So we apologize for being gone and whatever seedy fucking low rent show you had to watch or listen to while we were gone.
Yeah, hopefully next week I'll be fully back. Derek is, of course, back.
No. Actually, next week, we might as well tell people now. Next week, there's going to be no show. I'm out in Seattle all week next week.
Seattle all week. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. We're doing very sparingly shows at the moment.
Yes. But after that, so 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back full bore until we all disappear for E3.
Right. Yes, exactly. Then we're back, and then what is that? June? I think it's June 10th. Is that when that starts?
Yeah. We're out there from like the 8th to the 12th.
8th to the 12th. Yeah.
So it's got to be the 9th is probably the Monday. So that there will be no show that June 9th. But then following that, the 16th, that show is our usual 3.5 hour love fest. So
that's when you could just settle in and prepare your entire weekend will be taken care of. With our show, because we'll have like 6 hours of things to talk about, since we'll all be at E3, and hopefully we'll have some very cool Destiny information, all the other games that you guys want to see and want to hear and want to talk about. So yeah, that'll be very good.
Yeah, that show is going to be really long for me because it starts at 9 now, and that'll be finishing up to after midnight.
Yeah, that is going to be rough for you.
But that'll be good. All right, next, Wraith comments. I had just started watching your show, then you disappeared on me. Are you on a hiatus? When will you return? Oh, we've returned for 1 week, and then we're taking a week off hiatus, and then we're returning again, like we just said. So
you can actually hear about us being back finally, and then he'll come to watch the show next week and be like, "What the fuck?" And then we'll be back, and then he'll miss us when we go to E3. It'll be perfect for him. We'll never actually hear from him again.
Yes, Wraith, please stick around. I guarantee you're going to be happy with the shows that do come out. But yeah, I'll be out in Seattle, so no show. I definitely can't do a show out there. That'd be fucked up. But yes, we'll be back in 2 weeks after tonight. But tonight, you're getting a show, so enjoy it. Love it. Learn it, live it, love it. Last but not least, Choo Choo comments. Love the Double PAX East recap episodes. A double dose in 1 week. Thanks for keeping me more knowledgeable than all my friends. Well, you're welcome, Choo Choo. That's what the show always does. Whether it's Jay and I, whether it's Tiff and I, whether it's Jay, Tiff, and I, no matter who's on the show, we aim to give you the information to make you seem like the smartest guy at your office or with your buddies at the bar or in the frat house. Wherever you're at, we're going to give you the information you need to drop these bombs on people, and they'll be like, boom, boom. And they'll be like, where the fuck did you learn that shit? I just know things. I just know things, motherfucker. And that's why you're going to be better than all your friends.
Well, and if you would like to, instead of saying I just know things, feel free to give them our show's URL and maybe get them to come watch the show. We're not opposed to you actually divulging where you have found this information. We're actually very much okay with that. I think it's called promoting. So if you want to do some of that, go right ahead, promote.
Yeah, if you don't want to be a dick, then you can say that.
Right.
If you just want to seem smug, then the I just know things is also a fine answer. Or you could be like, I just know things. And if you want to know things, I heard about this show, Still Got Game, where you could probably learn almost as much as me. Like that way you don't have to give up your secret, but you can point them to us anyway. That's win-win. All right. Well, if any of you have feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, I've got nothing. Jay, you've been in hell here, so I'm assuming you have nothing at this point. No,
nothing at all. Nah,
waving it off. No. But there will be more site-related news in the near future. But for right now, the move was crazy enough, and everything's all fuck-dizzled. So I guess on that, why don't we hop over into what we're playing? Joel Dude I Rock Albert, what have you been playing this week?
I'm playing the world's smallest violin as I cry. Because obviously, I just got internet 2 days ago, and none of my stuff is here. So my TVs, everything, like I said, they stole 2 of my monitors. So all I really have is my work laptop and no video games. So, yeah, I've got nothing. Yeah. Hopefully by next week I'll actually have something to play.
That makes this segment of the show really, really short, because then it's just
really short, really easy. Yes. So what's it like? I should ask you. What is it like to play video games? I heard it's fun.
Oh, it's the tits. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
Well, I've been playing a shitload of Titanfall. I am about to finish up 7th gen in Titanfall. I have like 1 or 2 more challenges to go. Almost done those. Should probably be done those tonight after the show. I've also been playing some Trials Fusion, which is just like all the other Trials, very addicting. You play it, you see all your friends on the list. They're all their little ghosts are driving with you, and it's very competitive, and you want to beat everybody in your friends list. And last but not least, I've been playing a bunch of Zen Pinball again on the PS4. Now, this is that same game that we bought way back on the PS3. It was cross-buy PS3 and Vita. And then all those tables imported to the PS4 version, absolutely free. And they just came out with 4 new Star Wars tables this week. They are awesome. Super awesome. Really enjoying those. The trick is, if you're going to buy these, go buy them on your PS3 or on your Vita and let them import to the PS4. Because if you buy them right in the PS4, it's the same price, but then you can't back compat those to the other devices. So if you have a Vita and you think you're going to want to play it, buy it on the Vita and then import it into the PS4. And these tables are a blast, very competitive. Tiff and I have been going back and forth, trying to beat out each other's high scores. Price is low, I think $9.99 for 4 tables, and they're all super well crafted, super well done. I can never say anything bad about this game, and I love it, and it's awesome. So can't recommend enough. And there, if you want to see more about it, there's a review right up now on the Tool to Play homepage. Hit the Tool to Play homepage. It's probably the first or second story there, and it's all about the 4 new Star Wars tables. So check that out. I guess on that, why don't we hop over into the new releases? And this is once again another super light week of new releases. This is going to take about 15 seconds. First new release out this week is out on the PS4, and it's MLB 14 The Show. Now, we talked about this just about a month ago when this came. It was a multi-platform title coming out for the PS3 and PS4 because it's a Sony property. They ended up, instead of just waiting till now because they want to meet the beginning of baseball season, they put it on the PS3 first. We said, hey, everybody wait for the definitive version. This one, everybody looks last gen. The next gen version, they have flowing hair and their actual beards. Like you look at all my Red Sox guys, everybody has their own individually weird beard. Well, this is finally out. So we're not going to rehash all the details in the game, all the improvements. We already told you about that. The big thing is now it's finally on the PS4. If you're a baseball fan and you waited, this is the time for you. If you're just looking for like a really great looking next gen game and you have a PS4 and you really don't have something, yeah, this might be worth picking up. It's, baseball is one of those things that you can play. It's like playing Madden or any of these other games. You can just sit down and play it. You don't need to be a fan of the sport. As long as you basically know it, you can have a good time with it. And the game looks fantastic. But if you're one of the guys that has a PS4 and a PS3 and you were like, I need baseball now, and you bought it for the PS3, well, you're a fucking idiot. And now you're going to have to buy it again. Nothing I can say. But that's all we're going to say on that. And the only other new release out this week is out for the Vita, and this God of War collection. Now, this is the HD remastered versions of God of War 1 and God of War 2 that came way out on the PS3 back in the end of 2009. So this wasn't that 2012 collection of the 5 games. This is the 2009 collection where they took the old God of War 1, God of War 2, remastered them. I think at that time it was 720p. And for those games, that was a phenomenal increase. What they've done is they put these now onto your Vita. So it's a smaller screen. So, that up-res HD is going to look awesome on there. If you've never gotten back to playing these, like if you just started on the next gen, started playing God of War games, well, this is your time to go back and play the first 2 if you got a Vita. How can you go wrong? It's like fucking $20 or $40 or whatever the cheap Vita prices are. It's definitely not a $60 game. You get these 2 games, one fell swoop. You can catch on. You can see how the series began. Back in the day, this thing was getting high 9s. So the game doesn't get any worse because it's 5 years old. You're playing a game that was at the time it came out 5 years before that. It's a 10-year-old game that they remastered 5 years ago. So you can't go wrong with this if you got a Vita and you're looking to fill in your God of War collection.
God of War is a fantastic game regardless. And if you've ever liked God of War, there's really no reason to not pick it up on the Vita. So it's really actually nice to see these types of games hit the Vita, where you have something that you actually, the problem with the Vita for me has always been like, is there a game on there that I really want to play? And there's games like this where I've never really got a chance to play God of War. I played the first God of War, but like God of War 2 and stuff like that. This is a reason to get a Vita or a reason to go back and play those games that you're not going to really want to buy for your PS3, for instance. Like me, I don't even have a PS3. So it's kind of nice to do that little backporting thing. Until they kind of, a remastered version of PS4, I'd also be a buyer for something like that as well. So it's cool stuff.
Yeah. If you're somebody that uses public transportation, you got a Vita, you can just fucking sit on that train every day and play your fucking Vita. Go apeshit and be like, I'm going to play pinball. I'm going to play God of War. I'm going to play fucking whatever. It's a good public transportation device, and it's well worth your money.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Jay, on that, why don't we hop on over into gaming news? First story,
and of course the lawsuits have already started. Oculus is firing back at ZeniMax in their virtual reality dispute. This is via Gamasutra. The battle over virtual reality technology between 2 gaming industry heavyweights is just getting started. A representative for Oculus sent along a longer statement this morning refuting ZeniMax's recent claims that Oculus illicitly acquired proprietary technology when it hired game programming luminary John. Now, is it Cermak? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Carmack?
You actually, okay, Carmack, as its chief technology officer. So if you've been following the story, John's been obviously psyched because he's always been into VR this entire time. So getting hired for Oculus for him was kind of a big deal. So ZeniMax, if you don't know who they are, they're the parent company to Bethesda Softworks. They're the developer and publisher of the famous, highly acclaimed Elder Scrolls series, and of course, Fallout as well. So 2 series, these are juggernauts when it comes to developers. They're a great company. So it's kind of crazy to see these 2 fight it out. Now, Oculus, of course, if you don't know if they are the VR startup that was finally acquired by Facebook for $2 billion earlier this year. ZeniMax believes it deserves a piece of that VR pie. Word came out last week that ZeniMax lawyers contacted the employees. They contacted Oculus and Facebook lawyers, saying that Carmack's work on the VR happened while he was still employed at ZeniMax, allegedly making that work, of course, the property of ZeniMax. Quote, "We are disappointed and not surprised by ZeniMax's actions, and we will prove that all of its claims are false," end quote, the Oculus representative stated Monday. He went on to address specific claims that ZeniMax lawyers made. For instance, this is a list of all the claims, there is not one line of code, of ZeniMax's code rather, or any of its technology in Oculus products. John Carmack did not take any intellectual property from ZeniMax. ZeniMax has misstated the purposes and language of the ZeniMax non-disclosure agreement that Palmer Luckey signed. A key reason that John permanently left ZeniMax in August of 2013 was that ZeniMax prevented John from working on VR and stopped investing in VR games across the company. ZeniMax also canceled VR support for Doom 3 BFG when Oculus refused ZeniMax's demands for non-dilutable equity stake in Oculus, which I think was fair. ZeniMax did not pursue claims against Oculus for IP or technology. ZeniMax has never contributed any IP or technology to Oculus, and only after the Facebook deal was announced has ZeniMax now made the claims through its lawyers, which is not surprising since that number is $2 billion. Despite the fact that the full source code for the Oculus SDK has been available online this entire fucking time, ZeniMax has never identified any of this, quote, stolen code or technology. Of course, ZeniMax is seeking compensation, and there's no official word yet on whether court proceedings will ensue. But, I mean, I guess I'm not surprised at this. Whenever you see numbers like $2 billion, like these crazy numbers people throw out, companies tend to say, hey, let's fish for a lawsuit. Maybe we'll get some money. I mean, so do you think that's what this is, Derek, or what do you think the deal with this is?
Yeah, I think this is genuinely someone that really loves the tech. Carmack, he wanted to do VR stuff. It never played into what he was doing where he was. Obviously he comes from a rich background at id Software. All those games really lend themselves to the new VR wave of things that's going on. Like, you take any first-person shooter, and it's instantly something that's super portable to VR. He goes, and we keep saying ZeniMax, but it's, Bethesda and all these other things. He leaves there because they have no interest in the VR stuff that he's doing in his spare time. They say, fuck your shit, whatever. So he does all this stuff in his spare time. He goes over there with them. And then they're like, wait a second. You did all this VR stuff while you were working for us, and we love VR. Well, no, you're going against exactly what you told this guy, and he did it in his own spare time at home. And none of the stuff that he did while he was with you in the office, they could produce this information. They haven't. And, they have the entire source code for the Oculus stuff. It's all open source. They could go in there and look, and they've never picked out a single line of code there. I think it's a non-case. It's one of those things, like you said, where somebody gets a lot of money and you figure maybe they're willing to pay a little, leave me alone money. Like, it's like bug spray. I'll pay $100 million of bug spray just to not have to deal with this. But I think it's without merit, and I think if this keeps going through, that's what we'll see happen.
And a lot of times things like this, I mean, it's not really a warning towards ZeniMax, but it really degrades the brand too when some of these things go farther than they really should. I mean, some gamers start to actually see this and say, "Hey, man, leave it alone." Like, I love ZeniMax. That's the thing, is I love the Bethesda games. Obviously, I'm a huge Fallout fan. Played a ton of Fallout. I haven't really played too much Elder Scrolls. I'm not really addicted to that type of gameplay style, but still. They're a great company, and when you see this sort of thing happen, you kind of shrug your shoulders and say, really, guys? I mean, is it tough times? Like, what's the reason for something like this? So hopefully it gets resolved quick. Again, $2 billion, it's kind of hard not to throw your hat in the ring for some of that money, but hopefully things get smoothed out soon.
Exactly.
All right, on to the next story. Marvel won't do an Avengers game until it finds the right developer. This is via Joystick. Licensed games have a great opportunity to build engaging experiences out of characters and environments that fans already love. But, of course, plenty end up feeling like half-baked and uninspired ideas. We're all used to this. So Marvel's head of games, TQ Jefferson, told IGN that the risk of building a botched product with the wrong studio has kept the Avengers from starring in a game more recent than Marvel Avengers Battle for Earth. It's a pretty old game. Yeah. Quote, the Avengers game will come when we have the right partner that has the right vision, that has the time to develop a strong, competitive AAA title, end quote. Jefferson explained. Quote, it has to hit our three pillars: fun and engaging gameplay, true to the characters, compelling story. Gamers, of course, they know better. They're not going to flock to something that's subpar, end quote. It's certainly a viewpoint that, of course, me and Derek support, and I'm sure all of us support. No one wants to see their favorite characters slog through another game that feels like it was given the bare minimum resources, and license owners probably don't want that legacy of disasters like, of course, Superman 64, if you older folks know what that game is, following them around. That was a pretty shitty game. Unless you were really into frustration and punching yourself in the dick, then it was a fantastic game. Marvel's focus on quality for the Avengers presumably bodes well for, of course, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So what are your thoughts on this? This almost, in a weird way, segues into mine and your theory of, like, they never make good video games for movies, because, of course, they're making great Avengers movies now, and I feel like it's good. It feels like they want to do that in video games. They're kind of like, going down that road of just quality, quality, quality.
Yeah, this is the opposite of what we usually see, because usually we get to new releases and I'm like, next new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it's out for 11 platforms, and it's X movie game, and then we're always like, oh, it's probably going to be a piece of shit because it's a movie game, and that's exactly what Marvel knows happens every time.
They know
it. These games get churned out, with the exception of the Lego games. These games get churned out to hit they basically hit the Tuesday before the Friday release every time. It's the Tuesday the game comes out, the movie comes out the Friday. And these guys have not been involved in working on this for 2 years since the movie started, was in pre-production. The movie started filming, a year and a half out from when the movie releases. These guys aren't brought in until they have like a 6-month development window, if that. So, you get what you expect from that window. So it's really refreshing to see Marvel say, hey, you know what? We see what happens with video games that are based on movie properties. They're just rushed out the door to meet release dates. We don't give a fuck if this comes out anywhere near our movies. Avengers, there's not an Avengers movie now. We already put out Avengers. Like, this is something that we just want to have something that's quality, that's AAA, that's competitive with other AAA titles, and something that we're proud to put the Marvel logo on. And I cannot say anything bad about this. This is an awesome approach. And, if this works out for them, and this all of a sudden doesn't get your like 4 or 5 star or 4 or 5 on the scale, and this becomes like a 8 or 9 or 10 game when it finally comes out, this is other developers or other movie studios are going to look at this and say, hey, you know what? Maybe doesn't make sense to rush out this game. And when you put out a shit game that's a 4 or a 5, maybe we sell X number of copies. But if we put out a 7 or an 8 or a 9 and we sell 10, 20 times that much, that's way worth the risk and waiting than just trying to crank some shit bag out.
Yeah, because the idea has really always been for, movie title type games, it's a quick cash grab. It's like, well, right now, the movie is out, everyone knows, the hype is there. Let's just throw out some shitty game and just capitalize on that hype. Because after 2-3 weeks, people aren't going to go to the movie anymore. It's kind of going to be, last week's thing, and no one's going to care. But when you have a franchise as old as something like this, this is Marvel, Avengers doesn't really go away. Obviously, it's become more popular than ever, so now would be the time to really come out with that 9 out of 10 game, that 10 out of 10 game. Obviously, it takes a lot to do that, and I think that's part of the reason that they're saying, hey, we haven't even found the right developer yet. We don't even have the right idea yet. So it's really awesome to see stuff like this. No, I can't wait to play a great movie/comic game for once. It'd be great.
Exactly. Yep. I can't say enough good stuff.
All right, let's move on next to the next story. It is Unreal Tournament. This is exciting for me because I'm a UT huge fan. When I was a young little lad playing video games on my PC, Unreal Tournament is coming back via the Unreal Engine 4, which is even better. This is via Gamasutra. Epic executive Mark Rain and Paul Megan have revealed via Twitter that the next-gen game in the long-running Unreal Tournament franchise will debut next Thursday via Twitch, which we are on right now, via a live stream. Very cool stuff. The most recent prior installment of the franchise, of course, is Unreal Tournament 3, which was released by Midway for the PC, the PlayStation 3, and the Xbox 360 in 2007 and 2008, respectively. It served as a showcase for the company's Unreal 3 engine back then. So we can expect that the new title will assume much of the same role for the Unreal 4 engine, which was made available by monthly subscription in March and recently updated to better support the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 development. The new Unreal Tournament game will be the first major PC and console title the studio has unveiled since Chinese online giant Tencent acquired a significant stake in the company. So, I mean, my thoughts are easy to read. I fucking can't wait. I'm a UT fanatic, and I'm pretty sure Derek is as well. But what are your thoughts on this announcement?
Oh, I've played the shit out of UT since the beginning. UT3, I tried it on the Xbox. I still played it on the PC as well. But Unreal Tournament has just been from the beginning. That's where all of those, like every other game that you've played and you've downloaded the voice packs of like double kill, triple kill. Like Halo stole that fucking concept of having those awesome voiceovers. Holy shit. Like that all comes from Unreal Tournament. It is so fast. It's so twitchy. You think you can play shooters? Try playing Unreal Tournament because the way that you play Halo when you run through the mud, you're like, "Oh, master chief, and I'm coming for you." No, that's fucking Halo speed. And then you have Call of Duty sprint speed. You're like, "Hey, I'm still going a little bit slow." And then Unreal Tournament. Imagine doing like a fucking 8-ball of Coke, and then chasing that with 2 more 8-balls. Then play an FPS, bitch. Boom! Unreal Tournament. That's how it's done. Woo.
It's true. You have to smoke crystal meth while snorting crack, while shoving cocaine up your ass, and then you're actually playing Unreal Tournament. And my only fear for Unreal Tournament 4 is that I am finally too old to play. I don't know if I can actually handle the amount of twitch that was required, because even when I was like 16, 15, I was twitch like, snorting Red Bull and doing whatever I could to actually like have an advantage on that game. That shit's going to be hard to do nowadays. I don't know that I'm prepared after, spending the months and years playing Halo in a molasses-driven sort of environment. Now I actually have to be ready to be twitchy again. That shit is hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah, I seriously can't fucking wait for this. This was like the surprise announcement that you always hope that, Epic had one of these in the wings. But the fact that they're actually like, oh, by the way, Thursday, we're going to show you this shit. Like, it's not even like at E3, they're like, next year it'll be. No, it's like Thursday, we're going to show you this shit. It's fucking playable. And we've been playing it in-house for months. And all our guys are doing coke and playing. Like, I can't fucking wait. It's going to be awesome.
Do you think that's like a prereq for like when they try to hire you? They're like, how much coke have you consumed? And you're like, oh, I don't do any drugs at all. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can't hire you.
Well, we're going to put you on the Gears of War team then. Yes.
You want something real slow, like a third-person shooter where you dick off? Yeah, that's Gears of War.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Belushi comes and he's like, I'm on speedballs. And they're like, you're fucking on Unreal Tournament team, baby.
You are the dev lead. You have no experience developing any video games, but you have enough 8-balls to supply the entire team. You are hired, sir. Yes. Community manager as well. Go.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, and on to the next story. Of course, HarmonX bets Amplitude HD's future on Kickstarter. This is via Joystick. Seems like every developer is going to Kickstarter. Rock Band and Dance Central developer HarmonX has posted a Kickstarter to fund a sequel to Amplitude, its rhythm action game from, of course, the PlayStation 2 era, back in the day. The company is currently seeking $775,000 for the project, using the crowdfunding platform to gauge a legitimate interest. Quote, legitimate in this context, being the people who want to put their money where their mouth is to actually play this game. Quote, our aim with the Kickstarter is to be humble in our expectations. The current goal is to make a faithful Amplitude HD, the core experience from the PS2, redeveloped for modern gaming devices, end quote. The company notes on its Kickstarter page. Quote, we certainly have lots of crazy ideas that could blow this concept out. Your contribution, feedback, and community input will decide where this project will land and how many crazy ideas we can actually incorporate, end quote. If successful, the new Amplitude will be available on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, which makes sense because Sony owns the intellectual property for it, so that's probably why you're not seeing it on other systems. A cross-buy code will be given to the first 1,000 pledges at the $15 tier, and a code is standard, of course, with the $20 tier if you decide to throw your money in the table. The game is currently scheduled to drift down the Supernode Highway in March of 2015. So this is crazy. We have an established developer now going to Kickstarter. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I was talking to Tiff about this morning, and Tiff backed this for the Nolan family. But there's been, and we talked about this first. I gave her my opinions, and then we started to see the same sort of chatter come up on Twitter and social media. And there's two sides to this. One says, Kickstarter is there to judge your serious people that are serious about your thing. They want it, and they can put their money out there. The flip side of it is that, Kickstarter is there for people that don't have access to money. So sure, Harmonix has come and they've said, the only way we could do this game is with Kickstarter because we don't have the funds to develop this. I find that hard to believe that your company doesn't have $700,000 in the bank for a game that they think will be successful. And I'll go to my friend Kevin Smith, who to make a parallel here. He was going to crowdfund his most recent movies, and then he basically, his argument against it is there's a limited pool of money in there. So not everybody has unlimited income that they can spend on this Kickstarter or this Indiegogo or whatever. So with that limited pool of money, if you can afford to do something yourself, do it yourself, because that money can then go to the people that cannot afford to do it. So in his example, if you gave money to fund the next Kevin Smith film, well, now there's some up and coming indie filmmaker that doesn't have enough money. He doesn't have a bank account. He doesn't have a house he can mortgage. He doesn't have all this other stuff that these other means of getting money that people that are established do. Harmonix, whether they have the money in the bank, that's one thing. They should. That's only $700,000. My company's got billions in the bank.
Right.
Or if not, they at least have things that they can borrow against to put out a game that, with the success of the Kickstarter today, obviously this is something people were interested in. I think they knew this going into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of I can see both sides. I see the dickishness of taking money from, like, let's say somebody's got a $50 Kickstarter budget for they're like, we're strapped for cash. I'm going to do some game stuff on Kickstarter. I'm going to put some money out there and get some things and get involved early in these things. And so now if you pissed away your 50 on Harmonix here, now there's some indie dev that's trying to make the next great indie game, and you like that, but you've already blown your load. So it doesn't seem fair to the little guy if you're a big guy to take that piece of the pot. So I see both sides. I see why you want those guaranteed sales in advance, which is really what Kickstarter is. It's like a pre-order platform. But at the same time, there's some little guy that's suffering because you took the money.
Yeah, and I would even go so far as to say even the way they word it, it's almost not, I don't want to say it's a slap in the face, because I like Harmonix. I love their company, and of course we're Tool to Play is friends with a lot of the people over there. But even, when you read their quote, it says that their aim is with Kickstarter is to be humble in our expectations. Well, for most people, $775,000 is not humble. That is an extreme amount of money to a lot of people. Yep. And that seems to be the problem. Most of these indie game developers, they're asking for $50,000, $100,000 is kind of on the high end, I would say. $250,000 is way up there. I mean, we're almost talking about $1 million here, and they're speaking to it like it's chump change, which for a AAA company like them is probably just that. And that's where I sort of really start to agree with that idea that, people have a limited amount of funds that they're going to spend on Kickstarters. They're generally doing it to fund games that they otherwise cannot see. And in this kind of context, I think me and you both are aware that they probably do have the money to do this. It's almost like they just don't want to risk that $775,000. And then it gets a little like, I don't know. Because, if they've got the money, then maybe they should put up or shut up. If they think they have these great ideas that are going to blow shit out of the water, then, use some of those funds to get those great ideas out there. So, I don't know. It kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way, but of course it's their right to do. Kickstarter's there for that exact reason, and if people decide to back it, that just means that that's what people wanted. So you can't really fault them for that either. So it's a tough call. I mean, Derek, what do you think about this story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over into the mailbag and voicemails. Altius asks, what are your thoughts on Nintendo skipping out on doing a press event at E3 again this year? Did they not learn their lesson last year? I was fucking surprised by this.
I was not. So let's go with why you were surprised. Let's start with it. It's a great question, but so why were you surprised by this?
Well, last year was the big surprise was, hey, we're not doing press event. We're going to do these Nintendo Direct video things. We're going to come live into your house and now granted, the individual Joe Nintendo fanboy, I love my Wii, I love my Wii U. They were big fans of this, but the media in general was not receptive to this. Social media was not receptive to this.
Right.
They were trounced on you couldn't look at social media without seeing Nintendo fucked up, Nintendo's dumb, Nintendo. So you would think, okay, we fucked up once. We scraped through a year. We're coming up on E3 again. We could either do a press conference like we used to do, and even if we don't, we went to Nintendo press events where they didn't show us shit, and we were still like, well, at least it was a press event. They showed us, 3 things out of the 20 they showed us were actually decent. But to go in again and be like, okay, no press event this year now, and they have Reggie in the video dressed up like a fucking Godzilla, Reggie weird fucking robot thing, and it's, I don't know, you got to learn from your mistakes, and I don't think they did here. So that's why I just don't think it's a good thing.
And for me, the reason I'm not shocked is because, frankly, I think that they are still, and probably will be for a while, in this, we really got to rethink who we are scenario. And obviously, with all the shifts, if you guys have been paying attention to this story, for Nintendo in general in the last year, there's a lot of internal shifting going on. They're not meeting, obviously, the numbers that they would like to meet. There's been a couple of the higher-ups that have been shifted around as well. So things are changing inside of Nintendo, and I would even go so far as to say it's probably a very volatile time for them. They're used to really making money and really innovating and surprising gamers every year, ever since the original Wii. And, of course, we've seen with the Wii U, things are not going well. We're finally getting some good games coming out. Smash Brothers and some of the other big titles are finally going to be coming out. And Mario Kart, if you guys haven't seen Mario Kart 8, looks amazing. Those games, those titles are finally getting there, but it's sort of too little too late, sadly. And I think
if no one's got your console to play them on, then what are you going to do?
Yeah, great, you released this thing, but no one's got a system to play it on. And I almost feel like they're just saying to themselves, we need to almost skip this entire generation. We need to just hunker down, rethink who we are as a company. Maybe they go back and they focus more on mobile, because obviously mobile is where they make the majority of their cash. Maybe they'll downsize, maybe not. We don't know, but I don't really know that going to E3 would be a great idea if really they're just going to show Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. I don't know if that's really worth them building elaborate sets and doing all these things to just disappoint media once more. And that seems to be what has happened in the last few years. Like Derek recently just said, we went there and we didn't see shit, but at least had a press conference. Well, at the end of the day, we didn't see shit. So how many years are we going to go there and they're just going to show us Reggie in a fucking space uniform or a Godzilla uniform, and we're eventually going to be like, these motherfuckers don't got shit to show. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the case. I think they're just saying, look, we just got to figure out what the fuck we're going to do to compete with Sony and Microsoft, or not compete with them and really push towards mobile and compete directly with Apple. Maybe that's the deal. Maybe they're just like, we need to just hunker down and do our thing. So in a way, I think it's a good idea, because they clearly don't know who they are anymore, and I think that's the main problem.
No, I see your point too. It's, I guess you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're Nintendo.
Right.
If you do it, people shit on you for going there and showing Pikmin, and that's the only thing you got.
Right.
Or you don't do it, and they're like, well, they don't have anything. They didn't even show up. So
right.
They can't win, I guess is the thing. So they're taking the lesser of two evils. You hide out, you bury your head in the sand, and then when you finally have a next gen console, you pull your head out. But if that's the thing they're going to do, then they got to do it soon. If they're going to become a developer publisher, like we thought was the best thing for Nintendo, you got to do that soon, because otherwise you're going to prolong yourself halfway through the generation again, like you did with the Wii U, and you're going to fuck yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. Well, great question, Altius. You got us thinking, and you got us disagreeing and agreeing, which is all we can ask for. So if any of you have feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment in this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help to support Still Got Game. GoDaddy, starting at less than $5 a month. GoDaddy, hosting from GoDaddy. Oh my God, I fucked up my fucking read. Holy shit.
And
Sorry,
I'm the one to
Audience.
fucking, this is, it's unbelievable.
All right.
You've got all the stuff you need to do the read.
I'm going to try this again. GoDaddy, starting at less than $5 a month. Web hosting from GoDaddy.com includes 99% uptime, 24/7 support, and free access to the GoDaddy hosting connection. The place to quickly install over 50 applications like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Ear, OS, Commerce, and more. Go to toolplay.com/GoDaddy for great deals on new.com registrations and renewals starting at just $1.99. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. And if you'd like sponsors, have a butchered read live, but sounds awesome on the final podcast, you can email us podcast@toolplay.com, call us 773-527-2961. Tell us what you want to sell. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. King of the internet, God of everything that's fucking holium at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And you can find me over at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
We also have a little thing called the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. Go there, subscribe. You will get all of the fine Tool to Play content that comes to YouTube, whether it's all the weekly episodes of Still Got Game, whether it's the semi-annual episodes of Thick and Thin with LB and Duty, whether it's the random episodes of Hits Motherfucking Quick, Hit Titch. Like Hits Shits Motherfucking Tits is an awesome show. You don't know when it's coming, except
it's never coming.
If there's a new release coming out, you hope. You sit there, you're like, wait, there's a game coming out on Tuesday. If Hitman likes it, he'll put out an episode of Hits Motherfucking Quick Shits. And you know what? When that episode comes up and you hear the shrink wrap crinkle and Hits just spends hours admiring the artwork of it, that is it's a quality show. It takes a special man to make that interesting.
Hit's going to eventually do a show where it's just him. It's you watching him staring at a cover of a game. He doesn't actually play it, but it's like an hour and a half of Hit, and he's just like, oh, I'm going to play this fucking game. Oh, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play this game. I'm playing this fucking game. And it's just like an hour and a half of that shit. And you're just there masturbating right along with him. Like, I can't wait until he opens this fucking box and shit up.
It is the ultimate cock tease.
He really is. He really is. Really.
Yes. So go there, subscribe. You'll be notified when all this content comes up, and you will have your spank material. Similarly, if you don't, we still want you to go to YouTube and subscribe, but you can also download the Tool to Play app from the iTunes store. It's absolutely free. Right now, it's got some serious deficiencies, like especially the logo. That's the incorrect logo. Like some idiot provided them the incorrect.
It's from you. It's retro, you fucker. That's how Tool to Play was back in the day. I'm giving you guys a fucking reach around for the back. You guys are OG, you know that logo, and every time you boot up that app, you're like, fucking OG, I was there when this app was there.
That's some way to put it. If you really want to go retro, you can go the one where people couldn't even read Tool to Play. They were like, is that sold?
Oh, yeah.
Sold Slay? What? I don't even understand.
Slay? Who the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was the worst font ever in our original logo. But anyway.
We've gone through some great branding. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. But now the Community for Older Gamers is our correct logo. So that will be on there soon, as well as some major improvements to the app. But right now, the things that are super good quality on there is the Tool to Play news feed, big graphic image of the news, bullet headline, and you get all of our news content on there, as well as all of our YouTube content. So download that for free, put it on your phone, and you're looking for some content, we're right there. It's nothing for you to do that. Costs nothing. You get some push notifications. It is some quality shit. So
one of these days, if I have some time, since my boss is actually in chat right now, I'll have some time and I'll redo the app.
No,
right now I don't have any time.
Yes, that's a necessity, but that will be coming soon enough. Also, please rate and review this podcast in iTunes. Now, as you know, or may not know for you new viewers, this started out as Tool Type Radio, an audio-only podcast. Then it became Gaming Under the Influence, which was a kick-ass name. But then when we were switching to video, there was a video show, a game show called Gaming Under the Influence. So we changed the name again to Still Got Game. Now, when we launched Still Got Game, we didn't just commandeer the old RSS feed for Too Old to Type Radio or the one we did for Gaming Under Influence. We started from scratch because it feels legit when you do that. And the problem with that though is that we don't have the reviews, the 5-star reviews, and all that backing metadata that pushes us up the list on iTunes. So what we need you all to do is go out there, give us a 5-star review on iTunes, write something nice about us. These guys are awesome. I love them. I watch the show every week. I listen to the show every week. It doesn't matter. Just go out there and put anything. Give us 5 stars. Still Got Game. Just search us up. Most of you probably subscribe there anyway, so it's in your list. Just click it, 5 stars. It takes you no time at all. So please do that. That helps push us up the list, gets more listeners, better sponsors. Then we increase the production value. We have more shit to give away. It's win, 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 win for everybody. So please do it.
Do it.
Do it. All right. Also, we need you to subscribe on Twitch, twitch.tv/tooldtoplay. That's where you're watching the show right now. If you're seeing us live, if you're not, that's where all the people saw this 2 days ago before you. They had the jump. They got the uncensored version. If you're listening to the podcast, you might not have heard all the fuck ups, well, until you get them in the outtakes. But this is where the raw, unadulterated shit is. Twitch.tv/tooldtoplay. Go there, subscribe. Last but not least, please join us each and every Monday night. Now the new showtime, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/tooldtoplay. We'll be live every Monday night except for next week. and except for E3. But that is where we will be for now on. So 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Tune in Monday nights. And I guess, Jay, on that, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
Coast to coast.